Imagine a world where every bit of your personal information you've ever shared online, from your favorite vacation spots to your shopping habits, is stored, analyzed, and possibly shared without your clear understanding or direct consent. This isn't a plot for a sci-fi movie, it's the reality we're navigating. And the key protector between our personal data and potential misuse, the Data Protection Bill. The Digital Personal Data Protection Bill 2023 was passed recently. But it has not all been smooth sailing. Not only have there been concerns raised by the opposition about our rights to privacy information, but it's worth noting that this isn't the bill's first appearance. A previous version was pulled back by the Union government just last year, with many opposition MPs vocalizing their apprehensions. Today, let's deep dive to understand how it directly impacts you and me. First up, the process. The Digital Protection Data Bill 2023 was introduced with some degree of secrecy. Remember those terms and conditions you never read but always agreed to? Recall 25th May 2018 when a precursor to this bill was introduced. The public's feedback? Kept under wraps by the ministry. An RTI was filed seeking these details, but it was denied. Now, with procedural steps possibly sidestepped and the bill tabled without highlighting changes based on public feedback, it feels like decisions were made behind closed doors, sidelining our voice. This bill had a somewhat similar introduction. One significant concern was that comments from the public wouldn't be made public by the Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology. Moreover, certain steps in the parliamentary procedure may have been sidestepped, raising procedural concerns. With consultations notes not made public, it feels like a distant decision being made without our direct participation. Now its scope. The bill decides to step aside when you make data public or due to a law. Think about all the posts, pictures, and tweets. The bill's approach? If it's out there, it's free for all, even if you later regret taking that karaoke night photo. Publicly available personal data are excluded from the bill's purview. It means that if you share personal data on platforms like social media, this data is not protected against unwanted scraping. This could pave the way for firms like Clearview AI, a company known for scraping billions of photos from the internet to power its facial recognition system to exploit this loophole. With such a gap in the bill, companies could potentially gather and use your images without explicit consent, much like Clearview AI has been controversially doing. Speaking of regret, what if you never knew where your data was going or for how long? Unlike its predecessors, this bill allows your data to be passed around like a hot potato without letting you know who's holding it next. Now, data collectors or fiduciaries are no longer mandated to inform you about third parties accessing your data, storage duration, or if your data will cross borders. And here is where it gets a bit shady. The bill allows certain legitimate uses where your data can be processed without your informed nod. It's like someone borrowing your car without asking because they deemed it necessary. While the deemed consent clause has been replaced, the bill still permits data processing in certain situations without explicit consent. Your data could be used without your approval in ambiguous circumstances. But wait, there's a twist. While they use your data, you've got duties too. If you raise inaccurate or misleading complaints, you might face a penalty. Acting carelessly or lodging unfounded complaints could set you back by 10,000 rupees. On the global stage, your data could be jet-setting without clear guidelines. While there's a no-go list of countries, the reasons for their blacklist status remains in the shadows. The bill has switched from allowing specific countries to receive Indian data to explicitly blocking some. However, the criteria determining these blacklisted countries are not mentioned. Now, of course, there are exemptions galore. Businesses, especially startups, may get a free pass on some provisions, and the government, their data use power, expand even more. It feels a bit like some people are playing by a different rulebook. The government has widened its exemption powers. The union government can exempt any data collected by certain entities, a move that could potentially dilute our right to privacy. Now, oversight is crucial, but the independence of the Data Protection Board, our watchdog, is under the microscope. It's akin to having a referee in the game, but the team decides who gets the whistle. All appointments to the board responsible for your data safety and privacy concerns will now be made by the union government, potentially undermining its independence. Our right to information, a beacon of transparency, gets dimmer. The new bill could remove the public interest exception to disclosure of personal information, weakening the power of the RTI Act. The big elephant in the room, surveillance. While technology advances, our privacy protections against broad surveillance have taken a backseat in this bill. It's the classic Big Brother is watching, feeling turned up a notch. The bill lacks strong safeguards against excessive surveillance, jeopardizing our privacy rights. Lastly, controlling the narrative. The union government can block access to information if deemed against public interest. It's like having a conversation, but some topics are off the table. The Digital Personal Data Protection Bill 2023 is more than just another piece of legislation. It's about our choices, our privacy, and our future in a digital age. As we keep a close watch on its evolution, understanding its nuances helps us make informed choices and champion for a future where our data is truly ours.
Journalism at Newslaundry is powered by the public, because when the public pays, the public is served. Visit newslaundry.com/subscription and pick a payment plan of your choice. Pay to keep news free and independent. Your future, and indeed the future of democracy, depends on it.